Hi guys, it's Dr. Sammy Pryor, and today this video we're going to be talking about male health. Ooh guys, I'm going to be beating up on you a little, but please watch this. I know about 60% of my subscribers are females, so I know this is not a topic that maybe you don't want to hear, but it has got some interesting facts. But guys, if you are part of my channel, subscribe, which makes up the 40% of y'all probably are not the ones this is for. So I need you, males and females that watch this, to pass this information along, okay? Share this with people that you think need to hear it, okay? If they watch it, that's one thing. If they don't watch it, you know, you can't control that. But if you share it, then they'll be more likely to watch it. So why I'm talking about it is because a new report came out, and it was the latest in a series by the Commonwealth Fund, a nonprofit organization focused on healthcare reform. And these reports analyze publicly available data on health outcomes, as well as surveys conducted by the organization. And they typically compare the U.S. to its high-income peer countries, with the latest comparisons including Norway, the Netherlands, Australia, the UK, Germany, Canada, New Zealand, France, and Sweden. Okay? So according to this report, U.S. men were the most likely to report multiple chronic illness problems, so 29% overall, and second only to Australian men in reporting a need for mental health care, 35%. They also had the highest rate of avoidable deaths, defined as dying from a preventable cause before the age of 75. And these gaps were even larger for American men with income insecurity, so that means very low income people, who were also at higher risk of not being able to pay for their health care and to avoid doctors. Unsurprisingly, men were the most likely to express dissatisfaction with the current status quo, with only 1/3 giving the U.S. healthcare system a high rating. Okay, so I looked up statistics on preventable cause deaths, okay? So in 2014, the 5 leading causes of death for people under the age of 80, so this was talking about before the age of 75, but this statistic comes from people under age 80, were diseases of the heart, cancers, stroke, chronic lower respiratory diseases such as asthma, bronchitis, and emphysema, and unintentional injuries, or what we call accidents. So these causes accounted for 63% of deaths from all causes in the year of 2014, and this is men and women, okay? This isn't specific to men. So the CDC estimates that 15% of these cancer deaths, 30% of these heart disease deaths, 43% of these unintentional injury deaths, 36% of these chronic lower respiratory disease deaths, and 28% of these stroke deaths were preventable. Okay, so they were preventable, and I'll talk more on that. But so going back to this study, this is a guy named Munira Zijunga, lead report author and senior researcher for the Commonwealth Fund's International Program in Health Policy and Practice Innovation, in a statement said, "This study makes clear that U.S. men are sicker, more stressed, and dying at much higher rates compared to the men in other countries. This is largely because so many of them can't afford the care they need. The United States is the world's wealthiest democracy, yet its failure to provide universal health care leaves 16 million men uninsured and far more with high out-of-pocket costs." Okay, so terrible. 16 million men, but nonetheless, this is what I'm going to talk to you about. So, I got this other thing I'm going to read that I saw, but for decades it was usually considered unmanly to eat healthy, avoid alcohol, and seek help for mental health issues. And I can verify that. This was a male author that wrote that. But I've been here in Texas where we have a little more machoistic culture, and I have been kind of dating guys, and one guy I dated, he was like, what do you mean it's not okay just to eat a 16-ounce steak? I eat a 16-ounce steak and 3 Andes. That's what he told me for a meal. I was like, oh my goodness, no one should be eating 16 ounces of steak at one time ever, and just steak only. Okay, the carnivore diet, I know there's many men that want to do the carnivore diet, but most of your polyphenols, all of your polyphenols, which are super necessary to prevent cancers, to protect your eye health, to protect your kidney health, just all sorts of healthy things that polyphenols do, they're in your plants, not in meat. Okay, so you got to eat plants and not potatoes, not just potatoes. They're not high in polyphenols. What's high in polyphenols? Green vegetables. Okay, but anyways, I digress. I have many videos about foods that I eat and foods as medicine. Okay, so go watch that if you're not sure what healthy eating looks like. And yeah, this guy even told me that straight whiskey, and I don't think he's ever been to a mental health provider. Yeah, so I've seen this in action, and that was just one guy, but there's many guys that eat just terrible. They eat terrible, their health is deteriorating, and they just don't even, it seems like they don't even care, but that just concerns me. But let's see, what else did he say? So in 2019, the life expectancy of men in the U.S. was 76.3 years, around 5 years less than that of women, according to this statistic. The leading cause of death for men in 2018 was heart disease and cancer, and we just talked about that. But also common in men is diabetes mellitus, prediabetes with high blood sugar, low testosterone, erectile dysfunction. And guys, erectile dysfunction, if you have that, that is a big indicator your heart is also, you got a problem with the heart, okay? So if you got erectile dysfunction, you haven't been to a doctor, you need to go to a doctor, okay? Obesity and fatty liver. And the primary cause of these are the diet, sedentary lifestyles, high stress, poor sleep, alcohol, lack of quality connections. And that is true. A lot of men are just very solitary. Men need these connections just as much as women do, okay? And according to the CDC, there are 350,000 deaths, or 1 in 4 men die due to heart disease, and that is very preventable. And skin and prostate cancers are the most common cancers in men. And mental health is also a problem with American men. The 8th leading cause of death in men is death by suicide. Okay? And guys, I have a video called Veterans and Suicide that has a suicide number for everybody. So go watch that if you're feeling suicidal, okay? And what this author also wanted to say, and I agree, that's why I wrote it down, is your health is not gifted by your genetics, okay? And he said, I often hear men claim, I don't go to the doctor because my grandparent lived to be 100. All right. And I have grandparents that lived to be 100. On my mom's side, and people around in my mom's side are dying of cancers, the men, and heart diseases. So, guys, it's about epigenetics. Epigenetics change your DNA, okay? They change your DNA, and these are all influenced by lifestyle choices, Okay, and they can be, the lifestyle choices can positively or negatively affect your DNA. And these include the diet, the exercise, the social connection, and how you handle stress. So, what I want to say about all this I just read is the older you go with no health care, the worse. Okay, the worse. Because as you get older and older, chronic diseases creep up, okay, and long-standing health conditions. And they're more expensive to deal with and to take care of, okay, much more expensive. If you come to a naturopath like myself, we could run this simple blood work, what we call, what is looking at your blood, and one that's called a metabolic profile that looks at your liver, your kidneys, your blood sugar, and some of your electrolytes in the body and how well these things are. And these can tell us a lot. These can tell us a lot about your health, how well you're dealing with the blood sugar. Yeah, and they're very cheap to run out of pocket. I think both the tests are like $50. Okay, so guys, reach out to me if you need an appointment. I know out of pocket, and I don't want any of you dying from preventable causes, and I don't want you guys going to get the health care so expensive because you've now developed a chronic disease. Okay, so I love you guys, and please share this, guys, and give me a thumbs up. I know it's a rough topic, I'm sorry. And if you could subscribe, I make all kinds of health topics that will keep you from having to go to the doctor so much, because you might learn something you can use on my channel. Okay, love you, bye. Have a good rest of y'all's day, bye.